So I am back, fresh off my cruise. If you want to hear how it went, then keep watching. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Carly Taylor, and on this channel, we talk about things related to faith, food, fitness sometimes, and sometimes I give my not so popular political opinions. I want to thank you for coming back to my channel and for watching, and to all of my new subscribers. I noticed that I had a few new ones. We appreciate you. We don't take your presence here for granted. I'm going to get right to the point and talk about, this is going to be part 2. The last video that I did was in relation to a vacation that I was about to go on. And I was discussing, I went on a cruise, by the way, and I was discussing my plan to stay on track because I had recently gotten back to working out. I was working out. I was cooking all of my own food, packing all of my own meals. So I knew exactly what was going into what I was eating. I've recently gotten back on a lower carb, I don't like to call it a diet, I'll call it a lifestyle. And I had gotten back on that. This is something that I've done off and on for about 8 years now. So it isn't anything new to me or anything like that. I have experienced multiple benefits from that. Fat loss being one of them. I lost 50 pounds on this lifestyle, but beyond that, there were some other things that I was dealing with that this has helped quite a bit. So I do it for more than one reason. I want to be clear on that. It is not strictly a vanity thing, but it's actually improved some areas of my health. So anyway, the question that I had for you is whether or not you would have stayed on whatever your lifestyle or plan was, or would you have just come off and thrown caution to the wind because it was vacation? I would not have judged either way. And I said from the beginning when I was talking to someone else that if I ended up deciding to do something different while I was on my trip, I would not be hard on myself. I would not beat myself up about that. However, as I went into the trip, it was fully my plan to remain on track. It was not something that I foresaw would be difficult at all. My mind was totally and completely made up, and some of the things that I love that give me the most trouble, that I have a hard time moderating, those cravings were in check, and I was doing quite well. So I began the trip. We flew into Miami. We stayed there for one night before we got on the ship. The hotel, we woke up the next morning. This was Monday morning. They had plenty of choices that were available to me. I was full. I was satisfied. I was happy. There were no issues, no problems. So we got on the boat on Monday. The first thing that we got was Guy's Burgers, which were absolutely delicious. I had, of course, a burger bowl, which I do often here, so it was nothing new to me. I just had the burgers with tons of delicious toppings. Again, I was full, I was satisfied, I was fine. I'm a person who is obsessed with French fries, but I was totally fine with not having them. It didn't bother me, not one bit. There was also a Mexican place on board, and I had chicken tacos sans the taco. I told him just give me the meat, and then I put some other, delicious toppings and veggies on top. And again, happy, satisfied, no problems, no issues. It was good. The next morning, I had a omelet from the Lido deck. It was the buffet. So I had a omelet stuffed with wonderful things. I had my coffee along with some stuff to put in my coffee that I had brought with me on board. All was well. And then things kind of took a turn. Things took a turn for the worse. Disaster struck. What do I mean by that? Well, I am a person who struggles off and on, even on land, with vertigo. Well, that ship got to rocking and reeling, and I ended up getting seasick. And y'all, it was bad. We were at the restaurant one night, and I literally slammed my plate down and ran out because I thought I was about to heave in the restaurant. The following night, I actually did heave. But I ran out. And so that next day, because what that does to you, it makes me want to go on what I call a cold and flu diet, because it just ruins my appetite for anything that is rich, anything. The only thing I want is usually stuff that is sweet or stuff that is kind of tasteless, bland, and dry, or otherwise carby, because my appetite for everything else is completely ruined. So I did the best that I could over the next several days. I made the best choices that I could, but I did at some point the next morning, I had like a little bit of scrambled eggs, and then I had like some grapefruit and a slice of melon, and literally that's all I could eat. I got a protein bar. I had some chicken wings at one point, and I only ate like 3 or 4 of them, and then I gave them to my mom and my sister. I also tried to have Guy's Burgers again, and that ended up in the toilet. Y'all, it was so hard that I thought I tore a muscle in my stomach emptying myself of that Guy's Burger. That's how hard, and I'm sorry to be so graphic, but so from that point, once I, got rid of the Guy's Burger, I could not eat it again for the rest of the trip. The chicken tacos either. And then one night we went to one of the fancy restaurants, and I had some salmon, some veggies, and some salad. But the boat was rocking and reeling. I was feeling really sick on the stomach again. And so I did have a slice of bread that they brought to the table, and my sister asked for some ginger ale for me as well, with regular sugar in it, which I don't even drink regular soda. I haven't done that in many years, even when I'm not, focused on, health or fitness. Is just not something I do. I prefer to eat my calories and not drink them. So that's kind of been my motto for many years. But I did have that ginger ale, anything just to try to settle my stomach. But I was able to keep my food down. But I left Mom and Nikki at the table before we were done to go back to the room and lay down. All of that being said, though, because I'm going to do a separate video about the cruise itself, because I actually had an amazing time. And would I go again, considering the issues that I had? I absolutely would. It was a bomb time. Everybody should go at least once. Just go prepared, have the proper medicine. The last day, I took something stronger. I got some Dramamine from a gift shop in Atlantis. And once I took that, I wish I had taken that all week long. I think it would have been much better. But the bottom line is I could have easily stayed on track had I not gotten sick. I was not tempted with any of the stuff, for real. I think by the last day, I was so hungry because I was not getting to eat as much as I wanted to sustain myself, because I was so sick. The last day I did end up having a Reuben sandwich, and I told her to give it to me without the fries. She gave me the fries anyway, and I ate the fries because at that point I was just hungry. But with the choices that I had, I made the best choices that I could, and I ate what I could without being sick. But I want to be clear that it was my intention to stay on track, and I could have, had I not gotten sick. But at that point, if I didn't eat something else, I was just going to be on a fast all week long, and I was not about to do that. So anyway, so at the end of it, did I gain a bazillion bunch of weight, even water weight? Because, when you're doing a lower carb lifestyle, most of what you lose in the very beginning is water. I understand that. There's science behind that. I do research. So, I know that it's not 12 pounds of actual body fat. We know that. You eventually get into fat burning mode, but I had not been on track long enough yet to get there, right? And so even with some of the carbs that I had to take in on the trip, I was thinking it was going to give me quite a bit of bloat and water weight gain. And it actually didn't. I came home and I was some ounces less than when I first went on the trip. So, that was good. The trip was wonderful. Like I said, I'm proud of myself. I did what I could. I had, again, I made the best choices under the circumstances. And, I have no regrets. I had a wonderful time on the trip. I did not gain any weight at all. Today, my appetite is back. I'm back on track. I have my lunch prepared. I have my dinner ready to go. So, I'm back on track. So anyway, I'm so glad you followed along with this journey, and this video has been too long already, but overall, I would say that it was a success, besides being flat on my back for like 2 nights of the cruise. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.